This is Orkadowski of WeAreChange.org here in Oceanside, California. I am joined.
Liberal, zombie-infested apocalypse wasteland.
I am joined by Mark Dice of the Resistance, and obviously there's a lot of Hillary Clinton supporters out here. And I'm wondering, Mark, what is going to happen when we flip Hillary Clinton's policies and her beliefs totally 180 degrees upside down? Will they still support her?
I guarantee you the Hillary Clinton supporters will blindly support her no matter what her policies supposedly are. And if we present them with policies completely opposite, I guarantee you they still will support her. Hillary Clinton running for president, what is it about her conservative values that you agree with?
Probably none. Is she a Republican?
Yeah, do you support Hillary Clinton?
Not really. I'm a Democrat, so.
So obviously Hillary Clinton, if Hillary Clinton were a Democrat, would you maybe support her then?
Probably.
Is it her pro-life stance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just that she's a woman is really all that
we need
matters.
women in the
That's
world.
Right.
You know?
Who cares what her policies are? Right?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, thank you.
But I think it'll be a great thing for us as women, you know, because we have much to say, and our voice needs to be heard as well. And we're very compassionate about the country as well, too.
Which conservative values of hers you support for her to be put into the White House?
I haven't really followed up on her a lot, to be honest.
But she would be the best candidate, obviously.
Yeah.
Just because she's a woman, we need a change.
Yeah.
Do you like that Hillary Clinton is very transparent and she actually released all her emails to Congress so they could see what she did as Secretary of State?
Yeah, I think that shows how much dedication she has for her work. I think that's amazing.
I really do. I mean, you know, as far as, she's being transparent in a lot of areas. So, it's like she has nothing to hide, you know. So, I agree with what she's doing.
And everyone knows that communication is the key to everything. Proper communication and the back and forth, it gets a lot of things done. Communication is the key.
Yeah, if you have nothing to hide and you're doing everything right, you know, of course it makes perfect sense.
Just that she's truthful, you know?
Very honest woman.
Honest, yes.
Full transparency with the emails, servers.
Yeah.
She also made a very strong stance saying she's not going to take any money from any foreign government to influence her political decision. Do you think that's good?
I think that's good. Yeah.
I think that's good because they wouldn't have much control over her, you know, in the decisions she made.
Have you heard the news of Margaret Sanger, this very strong female, becoming her vice presidential candidate?
I have.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
What do you think about these two strong women running for the 2016 election?
I say more power to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah. Do you like the pro-life stance that they both have?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right, so probably Sanger and Hillary.
Well, it is. Unfortunately, there are certain issues. Women's rights are very important to me.
Yeah.
And usually the GOP doesn't quite go that way.
Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like her very much.
So are you going to be voting Hillary Clinton and Margaret Sanger in 2016?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I'm going to be voting.
Hillary Clinton, as you probably saw, has chosen Jackie Kennedy Onassis to run as her VP for vice president. Is that a good choice for President Hillary?
Yes.
Jackie Kennedy Onassis as her vice president?
Yeah.
The two of them have some pretty good insight into the political world and could help the New World Order, I guess?
Yeah, I agree.
How do you feel about Hillary Clinton's support of Edward Snowden? Pretty good, kind gesture on her part, wouldn't you agree?
She's taking a stand. She isn't sitting on the fence. That's
like some other politicians obviously have called Edward Snowden a traitor. Hillary Clinton very brave to call him an American hero. That's pretty powerful stance, wouldn't you agree?
Yes. You can't call somebody a traitor because they got a political view.
Yeah.
All right.
We really don't watch a lot of TV.
Okay.
We are we stay busy. So we are here for a vacation. So.
But you're voting for Hillary?
We are voting for Hillary. Yeah.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Beautiful.
I've never been political. I'm not really religious.
Who cares who runs America these days, right?
Yeah, it's just...
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it just...
Doesn't matter. Okay.
After the inauguration in 1993, the Clintons fired the White House Travel Office employees, allowing their wealthy Hollywood friends to take over the lucrative travel business. This led to investigations by the FBI DOJ, GAO, Oversight Committee, and the Whitewater Independent Counsel. The Clintons claimed the firings were due to financial misdeeds, but the employees were cleared on all counts. Hillary Clinton allegedly played a central role in the firings, yet in her sworn testimony, she claimed she was not involved. The independent counsel found this to be factually inaccurate and that she made factually false statements. The Clintons were forced to remove their friends and reinstate the previous employees. Vince Foster, the longtime friend and companion of Hillary Clinton, was significantly involved in several Clinton scandals. Due to the strange circumstances surrounding his death in 1993, an investigation ensued. Before the police arrived, Clinton staffers illegally removed boxes of documents on Whitewater and presumably Travelgate and other sensitive issues. President Clinton put his wife in charge of the most expensive program in the country. There was a national outrage that the unelected, unqualified First Lady was going to design America's healthcare system. In a 1993 interview, Hillary Clinton admitted, "I am not an expert on healthcare. I'm not somebody who has studied it." Hillary Clinton kept the Presidential Task Force on National Healthcare Reform shrouded in such secrecy that a federal judge threatened to hold the administration in contempt. 2 years later, the healthcare plan was a 1,342-page nightmare, including gatekeepers, health alliances, purchasing cooperatives, new and higher taxes, and restrictions on choosing doctors. Physicians, hospitals, large and small businesses, insurance companies, Democrats, Republicans, and the general public rejected the program, and it failed disastrously. The General Accounting Office put a price tag of $32 million on Hillary Clinton's healthcare fiasco. For dishonesty, Hillary Clinton and others were fined $450,000. Court costs to taxpayers were $725,000. In 1996, with Hillary Care fresh in their minds, Americans voted both the Senate and the House into Republican hands for the first time in over 4 decades. In 1994, President Clinton's Attorney General Janet Reno initiated an investigation focusing on fraud accusations against the Clintons regarding their real estate venture, Whitewater Development Corporation, co-owned with their friends Jim and Susan McDougal. Hillary Clinton was the central figure, and the probe revealed pervasive conflicts of interest between the Rose Law Firm, where Hillary Clinton was partner, and its client, Madison Guarantee, owned by Clinton business partner Jim McDougal. Hillary Clinton claimed billing records subpoenaed and critical to the investigation were lost. It is presumed they were stolen from Vince Foster's office the night he died. 19 months later, following the Clintons' acquittal, many of the missing records reappeared in the Clintons' residence. As they were covered with Hillary Clinton's fingerprints, she fell under suspicion of obstruction of justice. Their business partner, Susan McDougal, refused to testify against the Clintons, assuring they were not charged. Susan McDougal went to prison for her silence, but was pardoned by President Clinton. 15 Clinton associates were convicted of 40 federal crimes related to Whitewater. The independent counsel's report highlighted the president's abundant and calculating lies under oath, obstruction of justice, and abuse of power. During this case, many other alleged abuses were uncovered. The 4.5-year expanded investigation cost taxpayers $145 million. Hillary Clinton's trades in cattle futures raised suspicions of improprieties as her very first trade of $5,000 quickly turned into over $490,000. She refused to release her tax returns for the years in question. Hillary Clinton insisted that she made all the investment decisions herself. The investigation proved her trades were actually placed by her friend James Blair through the brokerage firm Refco. James Blair was outside counsel for Tyson Foods, the largest employer in Arkansas, which is state regulated. The perception was Mrs. Clinton received preferential treatment and incredible financial returns as a way to garner favor with her husband, then governor of Arkansas. Revco was investigated and paid the largest fines in the history of the exchange. The Clinton administration improperly requested and received FBI background reports on 900 Republican officials. Hillary Clinton allegedly initiated the request to add data to her enemies list, leading to 3 separate investigations in 1996. In testimony, the White House Personnel Security Director refused to name Hillary Clinton as the source of the request, and he was forced to resign. Hillary Clinton claimed she was guiltless and was called a congenital liar in the New York Times. The fund was established so individuals or companies hoping to garner favor with the president could help pay the Clintons' endless legal bills. In 1996, the Justice Department investigated campaign fundraising abuses and cover-ups by the Clintons in connection with an effort by China to influence administration policies. In violation of U.S. law, agents for the Chinese government and military funneled millions into President Clinton's re-election campaign, the Clinton Legal Defense Fund, and the DNC. The DOJ's report stated, "A pattern of events suggests a level of knowledge within the White House, including the President's and First Lady's offices, concerning the injection of foreign funds into the re-election effort." The Clintons were accused of using the IRS to harass their enemies, including Republican politicians, the White House Travel Office, the NRA, Judicial Watch, the Heritage Foundation, and other conservative organizations. A senior IRS official admitted that Clinton opponents were singled out for tax audits. Also audited were Bill Clinton's female accusers, including Jennifer Flowers, Paula Jones, Juanita Broderick, and Elizabeth Ward Grayson. As he was leaving office in January 2001, President Clinton pardoned 450 people for crimes ranging from cocaine trafficking to kidnapping and terrorism. Several pardons personally benefited Hillary Clinton and were investigated for direct ties to her New York Senate bid. Mark Rich, a billionaire fugitive, owed the government over $160 million and was charged with tax evasion, wire fraud, racketeering, and trading with Iran. Rich's ex-wife, Denise Rich, a close friend of the Clintons, donated over $600,000 to the Clinton Presidential Library just prior to the pardon. Mrs. Rich also gave $14,000 to the Clinton Legal Defense Fund and $135,000 to Hillary Clinton's Senate campaign. The new Square Four were elders of a Republican voting Hasidic community convicted of defrauding the government of millions of dollars. Candidate Clinton met with their Grand Rabbi. Hillary Clinton received their votes, and the new Square Four received their pardons. Hillary Clinton claimed, "I did not play any role whatsoever in the pardons." Hillary Clinton's brother, lawyer Hugh Rodham, charged high fees to use his family influence to obtain presidential pardons. Carlos Vignali, a Los Angeles drug lord, paid Rodham over $500,000, and his sentence for cocaine trafficking was commuted. Almond Braswell, a scam artist, paid Rodham over $250,000 and was pardoned for defrauding senior citizens of millions of dollars. Fighting for Puerto Rican independence, the FALN exploded 138 bombs in New York City, Chicago, and Puerto Rico. During a 10-year reign of terror, 13 innocent people were killed and over 80 were maimed. New York City Councilman Jose Rivera met with Hillary Clinton proposing pardons for FALN members in return for Puerto Rican support in her Senate race. 2 days later, President Clinton pardoned 16 FALN terrorists. These pardons were condemned by Democrats and Republicans the House and Senate, the FBI, the U.S. Attorney, the Federal Bureau of Prisons, and the Fraternal Order of Police. Another probe into Clinton wrongdoing ensued. When Congress requested additional information, President Clinton claimed executive privilege, preventing anyone involved with the pardons from testifying. Hillary Clinton claimed no involvement in or prior knowledge of the decision. Former Democratic President Jimmy Carter called these shameless pardons disgraceful. The largest political fundraiser in U.S. history became the largest election fraud in history. In the year 2000, the fundraiser for Hillary Clinton's New York Senate race was attended by 1,300 people, including the Hollywood elite and the Democratic leadership. In violation of federal election statutes, an individual, Peter Paul, financed the entire event. Peter Paul was also a convicted cocaine trafficker. In violation, Hillary Clinton was involved with the solicitation of funds and the coordination of the gala. In violation, Hillary Clinton requested in writing an additional $150,000 from Peter Paul in untraceable securities. The Clinton campaign's filings with the Federal Elections Committee stated the event only cost $500,000. The actual price tag was $1.5 million. Senator Clinton was fined over $50,000 for purposely underreporting the cost of the event. In another campaign finance fraud, Hillary Clinton ignored FBI warnings and accepted over $900,000 from scam artist and felon Norman Sue. Hillary Clinton's Senate tenure was undistinguished. In 7 years, she introduced only 3 minor bills which became law, including the naming of a post office. She helped secure millions in federal assistance for a New York developer. Ethics questions arose when the businessman donated over $120,000 to the Clinton Foundation. Senator Clinton did not support English as the official language of the United States government, and she enthusiastically voted for the Iraq War resolution. Hillary Clinton ignored Senate rules and reporting requirements for the hiring of staff and non-paid fellows, breaking the Senate Code of Official Conduct and hiding multiple conflicts of interest. She was investigated by the Senate Select Committee on Ethics. Hillary Clinton's long history of campaign finance abuses continued. Jeffrey Thompson and other fundraising bundlers for her failed 2008 presidential campaign pled guilty to conspiracy and campaign finance law violations. In the primaries, Democrats nominated the little-known junior Senator Obama over the well-known, scandal-ridden Hillary Clinton. In 2009, President Obama nominated Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State. In 2014, the State Department spokesperson was asked to identify one tangible achievement from Hillary Clinton's 4 years as Secretary of State. She responded, "I am certain those who were here at the time, who worked hard on that effort, could point out one." Secretary Clinton's tenure had no signature doctrine or diplomatic breakthrough. It was, however, 4 more years of scandals. The Clinton State Department wasted $80 million on a U.S. consulate in northern Afghanistan, which will never be completed. Under Clinton's name, the Foreign Service gathered details on foreign diplomats, our allies and officials of the UN, including internet usernames, email addresses, credit card numbers, fingerprints, frequent flyer account numbers, and work schedules. The Clinton State Department lost approximately $6 billion due to improper filing of contracts. The FBI, CIA, and the DOJ requested that Boko Haram be designated as a terrorist group so the agencies could pursue them. Secretary Clinton declined, and the group continued its reign of terror, including the kidnapping of 300 schoolgirls in Nigeria. A special investigator for the State Department claims probes into illegal acts by the Diplomatic Security Service and ambassadors were influenced, manipulated, or simply called off under Hillary Clinton. These include sexual assaults by State Department security officials in Beirut, endemic engagement of prostitutes by Hillary Clinton's security detail, drug use by State Department contractors in Baghdad, solicitation of child male prostitutes by U.S. Ambassador to Belgium. Secretary Clinton's spokesperson claimed Hillary Clinton had no knowledge of any of the scandals in her State Department. We learned of it from the media and don't know anything beyond what's been reported. The United States mission in Benghazi, Libya, was attacked on September 11, 2012. As Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State at the time, she is at the heart of the cover-up investigation. When she finally testified to Congress 4 months after the attack, she famously stated, "The fact is we had 4 dead Americans. Was it because of a protest? Or was it because guys out for a walk one night who decided they'd go kill some Americans? What difference at this point does it make?" Hillary Clinton testified that she submitted all documents requested by Congress. 20 months later, and only through a Freedom of Information Act request, 41 new documents were released, including changes to Ambassador Susan Rice's talking points. More documents are still being withheld. The Presidential Records Act allows restricted access to documents for 12 years after leaving office. Now, 14 years later, the Clintons are still withholding thousands of records from the public. Over 300 Freedom of Information Act requests have been ignored, suggesting more damaging revelations about the Clintons. It is difficult to separate the Clintons' personal and political financial ventures from those of the Clinton Foundation. The New York Times expose on the Clinton Foundation details moral and fiscal chaos, shameless fundraising, and calls it mired in conflicts of interest. Run by old Clinton friends, it has been grossly mismanaged and, despite enormous donations, ran multi-million-dollar deficits. Already rife with conflicts of interest, the foundation's offices are now shared by the Hillary Clinton presidential campaign. Americans can give $2,300 to presidential candidates, but there are no limits on donations to foundations. Hillary Clinton cannot legally accept campaign donations from foreigners, but no restrictions apply to foundations. Secretary of State Clinton traveled to Moscow and pressed the Russian government to purchase planes from Boeing. 2 months later, contract in hand, Boeing donated $900,000 to the Clinton Foundation. The foundation's support from foreign interests hoping to influence U.S. policy is of grave concern. Foreign donations to the foundation increased by 70% when Hillary Clinton ran for president in 2008. Saudi Arabia has financed terrorists, has an abysmal women's rights record, and punishes homosexuality by death. And yet, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is one of the largest supporters of the Clinton Foundation. In a Clinton co-presidency, every large donation could raise suspicions of improprieties or influence peddling and lead to non-stop investigations. Many qualified and deserving politicians, Democrat and Republican, women and men, are waiting to lead this country.
President impeached by the House of Representatives.
On this vote, the yeas are 228, the nays are 206. Article 1 is adopted.
In the wake of the unprecedented vote against an elected president, Mr. Clinton vows to continue doing the work of the American people.
The results are in from last night's New Hampshire primary, but most importantly, I want to make a video talking about the clear media manipulation and bias that's taking place right now. Obviously, we know that the mainstream media is in the hands of the corporate globalist government establishment, and they're showing their true colors right now, subtly and not subtly at all. Right now, everyone in New Hampshire last night voted for Bernie Sanders except for the very old and the very rich. But we have CNN here declaring Hillary Clinton the clear winner in the delegates in New Hampshire even hours before the polls closed, obviously manipulating the polls, obviously lying, obviously pushing people who are on the fence towards Hillary Clinton. We have ABC News that just tweeted this a few hours ago, showing all the presidential candidates who won last night with resting female dog face. But the real female dog, who was a clear loser last night, is shown here smiling, subtly manipulating you, showing you how she's so great and wonderful and happy. Meanwhile, everyone's miserable. Meanwhile, she lost and she's miserable. ABC News continued with their propaganda last night by only documenting 5 minutes of Bernie Sanders' speech on their website. Meanwhile, the full Hillary Clinton speech is on their website.
Hello. I've tried to assemble some clips to clarify and help people understand what's happened in Benghazi and why it's so important that Congress and the FBI follow through on their findings and actually prosecute somebody over this. In the first clip, I watched this on YouTube and was so disgraced and disgusted I decided that I had to do something. Even the smallest of us, if 1 or 2 people read this, I think I've accomplished something. So hopefully before somebody may take it down, I hope a few people get to watch it. In the crowd, people in this first clip, again, I was just disgusted to see the age groups, the 30 to 60-year-olds in the Clinton rally, where Bill was trying to cut down a young boy that I just have so much pride to know he stands up for us and our country when there's such a terrible person just trying to tear him to pieces. I'm disgusted that the age group of people that I saw in the audience have forgotten Nina at the drug airport, allegedly ran by the Clintons and the Bushes. And people must have forgotten that Bill had been impeached as the United States president for lying. And what makes you think that Hillary's any better? Remember what started all this Middle East confrontation was over the African and Middle Eastern nations were trying to form a new currency called the Pan-African currency. Libya was invaded, and from Libya, Benghazi has all come about because Hillary, as State Department head, was involved in covering up arms being smuggled out of Libya into terrorist hands in Turkey and in Syria. Again, remember, Benghazi was over arms being sent into Syria illegally. That's it. The most important thing is a high-impact weapon called the Stinger missile, and 400 were missing. And our ambassador was killed because he tried to tell the State Department that he found these weapons and was trying to negotiate a buyback on them to keep them from falling into even worse hands. Just remember, everybody, if Hillary Clinton gets into office, her priority is to get Bill Clinton made the Secretary General of the UN. And just to show you the establishment has a plan B, if Hillary's thrown under the bus by the current administration, Joe Biden will be made the presidential candidate. If Joe Biden wins, he's going to make Obama the head of the UN. So that's their agenda, that's what's happened, that's why it's happened. Now, interestingly enough, how people that think they're so smart get caught. The FSB, which is the CIA equivalent of the Russian Secret Service, has all of Hillary's emails. The World Court found that these emails were not taken from a secured, regulated federal server, so espionage was thrown out the window. And Hillary's basically dug her own grave because these emails, if Congress or the FBI wanted them, could get them. Again, they were taken off of Hillary's private server, which is not a federally regulated server. So a lot of the laws and stuff for espionage aren't relevant because they don't exist. So just so, you know, somebody that thinks they're so smart can even get caught when the lies get so desperate that you can't even keep up with them anymore. So I beg everybody, do a little bit of reading. But again, I'm ashamed at the 30 to 50-year-olds that have children and grandchildren that are going to have to live in this world if this very bad individual makes it into the presidency. I can't even imagine our country. The KSP used those emails, by the way, to convict a terrorist within their own military establishment by the name of Nadia, Nadiya Savchenko, which is Savchenko. And the U.S. government tried to interfere with this prosecution with the use of these emails and was basically struck down by the world courts also. So I call on the FBI and Congress to do the right thing. Again, we all have children, and we all have grandchildren, and if we want to leave something besides a police state, please vote with your heart.